Okay. Hi, my name is Jacob Blizard. The first presentation today that did not participate in the Communication Fellowship. This summer instead, I worked in Boston, Massachusetts as part of the Forest Foundation, which is a fellowship that dedicates its funding and time to providing student-oriented service opportunities in the form of nonprofit work. And this summer I worked at a nonprofit called Haley House, which is a food justice nonprofit. During our orientation day at this fellowship, however, the first thing we heard was that we're going to play a game. It was not the first thing I was expecting to hear, but I was excited nonetheless. We could get to know each other as fellows, we could have fun in the process, but what I learned instead was something completely unexpected. So we go and start the game, and this is the first image I see. I described it as a red speckled figure, kinda in the shape of a star. That's what it seemed like to me at the time. I was the only one that could see this image, so my description skills had to be good. But as this game progressed, I became a little confused with the process because some things people were describing was a distance image of a sailboat. And as we continued describing and drawing out the pictures on notebooks and poster board, we eventually came to figure out that this game was a story of perspective. In the end, the entire puzzle contributed to a coherent picture, one in which you can start with a big picture, such as a sailboat, or in the small picture, which I did, and still contribute to a moving result. But what was so intriguing is that despite their varying perspectives, one piece was not outshining the other. In fact, they were working in tandem, and all their stories in one way are encapsulated in another. If you zoom in, you can see the smaller pictures, but out, you can see that encapsulated within it. This simple yet impactful lesson was very indicative of my summer experience. At each program, I gained different perspectives to food justice work, and with every new person that I interacted with, they brought their unique stories and passions to the table, and we listened. Seemingly small actions at first, these stories turned to collective experiences, and these collective experiences sparked advocacy and hope that community members were struck by. And at my work in Haley House, it was within these little yet fulfilling pieces of my summer experience that I can imagine the grandest impacts. This summer, I worked primarily in the heart of Roxbury Nubian Square, zip code 02119. It's a celebration of Boston's Black culture with artistry, culturally significant restaurants, and other locally owned businesses. A district which is visibly beautiful and vivid to the eye also faces lasting political and social structures such as income realities $30,000 below Boston's median income and incarceration rates consistently 2 or 3 times higher than the greater Boston area. Going into my work this summer, I sought to better understand both the realities of racial and political legacies while also honoring the strength and resilience of those that shaped Nubian Square to what it is today, and most importantly, how to magnify the resilience already present in the community. The programs I worked with this summer allowed me to amplify that strength already present. The first program, Take Back the Kitchen, is a program that offers hands-on kitchen safety and recipe demonstrations to groups. We primarily partnered with local nonprofit organizations dedicated to empowering young youth, specifically ages 6 to around 15, to strengthen their kitchen skills and empower them through that medium. For many students as well, these classes were the first time that they took an active role in the kitchen or even learned about the different types of nutrients that they were putting in their bodies. And as you can see from the quote, it was all healthy. I want to prepare real dishes. These were common occurrences across all the classes, along with quotes such as too many vegetables we're preparing and wanting to cook quote unquote junk food too. Although we didn't promote a specific dietary style, we tried to instill these small messages that would hopefully amplify their experiences with food and nutrition, one such as red and orange foods strengthen your eyesight by providing vitamin A, and things like citrus acts as sunlight by providing vitamin C, as well as coupling that with food justice topics such as food waste, food apartheid, which is systemic lacks of access to foods. All this might sound a little depressing. It is the reality in which food systems are shaped in America, fueled off of convenience, availability, and ultimately disease and illness regarding diabetes, obesity, and other health-related outcomes that disproportionately target Black and brown peoples in America. And by allowing the students to first reflect on their own diets and come into these classes being offered a new perspective, we are setting the stage for these students in becoming more aware of what real foods encompass, which hopefully lead them to gain autonomy over their diets. And the second program I participated in, Life Foundations Training, or LIFT for short, is a resource sharing space for community members who experience systems of incarceration. The program invites people into the space, receive and share resources that would be beneficial in the reentry process, and be in community over a meal. However, these circles went far beyond a resource meeting. Members divulged in their many experiences, from their journeys growing up in the Roxbury area to how they are coming here and hoping to better their lives through the program. And this is what LIFT ultimately provided, inviting shared vulnerability, which creates trust and social capital well beyond the scope of the meeting. The space allowed me to gain a deeper understanding of the Roxbury and Greater Boston areas, putting the pieces of how to provide a better atmosphere and space for disrupting the cycles of incarcerated trauma through compassion. It's not about you, it's about us, one member says. And we are better together, another member says. It's not about how people showed up to the space, but the energy and determination they took away from the space that created the most lasting impact. The land we occupy, the air we breathe, and the soil we feel under our feet. Close your eyes and become grounded in the basis of your environment, for it makes up your presence, which was a quote from the Thorn Street farm manager, Disha. The farm is truly an escape from the congested city and an invitation to experience the intricacies of life forces often overlooked in the environment. The farm holds natural raised beds, several apiaries, and seed and crop saving services, in part of tackling these roots of food insecurity and land disconnection, a persistent issue in the United States. In one of the garden beds you can see here lays a quote by Malcolm X, one that encapsulates the power capacity of the farm. The very presence of over 2 acres of Black and queer-owned farmland in one of the country's biggest cities is a tribute to the passion of residents in the community. Each person finds something that they hold special within this space. One such example being our delivery program. This summer, me and several other teen farmers spent our Saturdays harvesting nutritionally diverse and culturally relevant foods that we grew at the beginning of the season based on what community members wanted to see, and then delivered those to elders in the community with limited mobility access and other barriers to accessing fresh and affordable foods. The act of walking door to door and conversing with families, sharing what produce we were providing for the week, such as herbalism and potluck events, create a common space for healing and learning. For others, like my dear connection Pam, a neighbor in the neighborhood who sat with me every Saturday at the farm, she said, "This place makes me want to cry. Let go of my emotions and be continuously in community surrounding each other in the land we occupy." And it's quotes and conversations like this that are contributing to Just Futures. If my summer experience in the game I explained at the beginning has taught me one thing this summer, it is that service is not siloed. All actions are necessary to form a coherent picture, in this case, a future in which we imagine and visualize equitable food futures. As another community member resonated, we are organizing intellectually. Through the different programs and the voices that contribute to these spaces on a small scale, we are all working to be unified in a fight for better food and social systems. One conversation, one connection at a time. Succinctly said by one of my coworkers, we have to be in collective determination with each other in this space. And ultimately, this multifaceted empowerment and action starts right where we are now. So I implore you, next time you are considering an issue, don't know where to start, if something is too overwhelming, think about taking a step back and perceive the whole picture in pursuit of better futures.